This is my pod close strategy. So using podcasting as a lead gen.
Yeah.
Right? And then you close them. So that would be like you close them on your high ticket, which would be the main show. You want to get as much content as possible. That's what I always tell my clients. So, get some B-roll content. You could do your words on screen.
Yeah.
Get some content in front of the logo. Run one of your commercials, because that's another opportunity for you to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So capture all these micro pieces of content that you could utilize later. If you watching this podcast and you living in the same city that you was born in, and you're in your 30s, your late 20s, or your 40s, you need to switch it up, bro. You can't be born and dying in the same city, bro. So I had a client that asked me the other day. He was like, "Yo, I'm not trying to go over no podcast that costs $15K. That sounds crazy." I'm like, "Yo, what offer you got?" He was like, "Yo, I got an offer for $15K."
Why not?
I'm like, "All right, bro. So you got an offer for $15K, and you don't want to invest $15,000 and get in front of hundreds, 6-figure audience, potentially a 7-figure audience, that you only need to sell one thing, and this content you could reuse forever." Peter Kell, that made $40 million twice in a 12-month period. He had just bought a house. I think it was Laguna Beach, and I messaged him like, "Yo, I really want to get you on the podcast. I watched a couple of your YouTube videos. Shit's crazy." He was like, "Yo, I just bought a house, man. This is where I live at. Pull up and we could do it." I had a chance to tour his brand new crib. He just closed on it, right on the water.
Wow.
He didn't have no furniture either. Like, literally, he just got the spot. And I had a chance to sit down and interview him right in his crib. The crib was like an $8 million crib. So it's like, well, you got the podcast. It's like, It don't matter, bro. People going to let you in their intimate setting.
That's true. All right, so welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success. My name is Cody Brown, and I got my co-host with me.
Yeah, it's Ayo. And, we back with another episode, bro.
Yes, this is gonna be a good episode. I'm not gonna lie. This is an episode where Motion and Success meets Brendan Boyd. Brendan Boyd is definitely has been blessing us in the podcast game so far. We definitely met him at InvestFest the first time when we first started this podcast, and he took the
I remember that
joint. Gave us a little moment of shine. Did a quick interview, and now we're here for a full on podcast. So, Brandon, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, what you do, how you help them out.
Yo, real quick though, did you ever let people know which one was motion and which one was success?
Nah, bro, we never thought about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we never.
I think Ayo the motion.
How do you think I the motion?
Because he the one that do the communication. He always be
that's
moving
not
it.
true.
Nah, Cody does fine.
I feel like every time it comes to, at least when I talk about moving with the pod, connecting people with the pod, it's always with Ayo.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, initially, but I don't know.
Success ain't bad, bro.
I mean, it's we too. So the message is gonna spread from one person to another one.
You know how they got fresh and fit, bro? One's fresh and one's fit.
He gotta be a little
You
different.
could be success, and he's the motion.
I ain't got nothing against it though. I don't got nothing against it, but I would like to be motion.
Cool. I got
but it's still cool.
All right, 50-50. You're both y'all motion and success.
Facts, 50-50. That's fair.
But essentially, bro, what I do is I help entrepreneurs and business owners leverage podcasting to get their message out there.
Yeah.
So they get more exposure. What people tend to overcomplicate is if you got a message, if you got a product or service, you just need more eyeballs. So you could be doing 10K a month, 5K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month. You want to double that, do 25% more of that. Maybe you want to hit 100K a month. But you're already serving the people, meaning you're already selling something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What you need to do is just get in front of more audiences consistently. And this is what a lot of business owners don't do. They may do it one time, but they're not doing it consistently. Every single day, they're not getting on a pod or speaking or joining, jumping in like a community or a Facebook group or something. You know what I'm saying? Or getting on a live or getting on a stream. They might do it once a month. You know what I'm saying? So we leverage podcasts, influencer marketing, sometimes short form content. Any platforms that has audiences, we put our clients in front of those audiences. They do their thing and they close deals and grab data.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to salute you for real, because I do remember us like about this time last year. We probably only had like, I'll say probably 1,000 or 500 to 1,000 followers, and
less than 5K.
Yeah. And I remember we hit, I think because we got your contact info. I think Cody had got it. And we jumped on a Zoom call. I think we wasn't really like popping at all.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that was a minute. I remember that.
That was a while ago. That was like a year ago. And Brendan, didn't charge us anything.
Didn't I give y'all like a 2-hour replay too?
Yeah, gave us a 2-hour replay, a YouTube video that was unlisted and everything. It was like, And you know, we absorbed it. We absorbed all that information, and you know, we was able to start making money from the pod early on too. So, you know, I definitely appreciate that game. And I do want to ask you, like, how did you realize podcasting was a big thing? Because now I see it's a trend. You know, everybody, you know, they start a podcast yesterday, and you know, they could easily start it yesterday, and then that, you know, it's just become so popular, like all type of different subjects, topics. It's just now a trend now. But how did you see that, you know, podcasting was heading this direction?
I didn't necessarily see it heading in this direction. What I picked up on was the fact that anytime I personally asked someone to get on a pod or to do an interview, they would always say yes. Yeah. So what I realized is if you got cameras and you got a microphone, you got people's attention. It's kind of different. Like if you just ask somebody like, yo, can I pick your brain? Or yo, you got 10 minutes for me? You know, 9 times out of 10, if it's a busy person, entrepreneur, someone that's moving and shaking, they're going to be like, nah. But if you like, yo, can I interview you? Or y'all got a podcast, so I'd like to have you on. 9 times out of 10, sometimes 10 out of 10, they're going to say yes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it could be the busiest person because they understand the value of getting a message out there and having this type of conversation. And if they understand content marketing, they know they can repurpose that content. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you could talk to, you know, 7-figure earners, 8-figure earners, 9-figure earners, business owners. Where's Trump and Kamala doing their campaign run? They're doing it on podcasts. Yeah. They're doing it on streams. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The podcast is the new rally. They ain't really hitting the cities the same way. They're hitting the podcast in those particular cities, or they're hitting podcasts or streams that have big platforms. Trump did a whole skit at McDonald's.
Oh yeah, he did.
So Trump trolled Kamala because she was talking about she used to work there, right? They said they couldn't find verification that she worked at McDonald's. So he did a whole meme, basically a meme video of him at McDonald's for content during the campaign run. You know what I'm saying? So if you know the former president and a current person running to be president, the vice president, if they realize the power of content marketing and they're doing it consistently and they're looking for different, you know, podcasts to get on, they got audiences, why aren't the business owners doing it? Why they don't think that makes sense for their business? And why not do that consistently? Why not be on a podcast once a week forever, big or small? You know what I'm saying? And then take all that content and repurpose that content out. Why not do that? Right? Because you can extend it now. Because if I get on a podcast and I understand, okay, it's going to be my tonality, my energy. You know what I'm saying? I could pull something that's relevant and I can relate it to what I got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the NBA's back, but you know what people doing? They're distracted. Yeah. They're worrying about LeBron and Bronny, but they're not worried about what's going on in their life. That's why you need to boom. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could take whatever's going on relevant in pop culture and then flip it to your message. Now, if you repurpose that content, that particular clip might go viral. You can run an ad on that and then circle it back to one of your offers. Right. There's a lot of things that happen after the podcast that most guests don't even, they just stop it at the show. They'll just go on the show. That's it. Let the show do what it do. Then they'll be like, yo, it didn't work.
So I got a question. So now, say, for example, a person come on a podcast, how can they maximize, like, their you know, their time and the dollar that they spent to get on the podcast? Like,
man, I got a whole list of things, bro. Shout out to my guys, Tevin and Brandon out of here in the studio. But they was on a pod not too long ago, and I literally sent them a whole list of things that they could do. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing you want to do is there's a gap of time from when that podcast is shot to when it come out. So if you're looking to maximize, the first thing that you need to do is bring something to record you while you're being recorded. So now you have some content that you can put out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wait for 2 weeks before the pod drop or a month. In some cases, it might be 3 months if the podcast is
if it's popping,
if it's busy, if they shoot a lot,
like if it's motion.
You know what I'm saying? If it's motion and success, you know what I'm saying? There might be a line, bro. Yeah. You know, right? So the first thing is I would bring a device. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm using the Osmo Pocket 3 right now. You can use your phone. You could bring a shooter. You know what I'm saying, to record you. But if you can get your content, you want to be premeditated in your thinking. Get your content first. So that's the first thing you want to do. Grab your content so you can leave with your files. You know what I'm saying? Second thing that you want to do is you want to have them talking points. You don't want to be going on here. So what do you guys want to talk about today? I'm an open book. We can talk about whatever. You want to have certain things that you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I want to get these points across. Boom, boom, boom. And then if we get into my story, which most people are going to relate to people's stories, or I want to make sure that, if this is going on in the world, I'm going to bring this back, right? So you want to make sure that you have a plan, right? You want to have certain things you talk about, but you want to make sure you have a plan, because most people fail to realize that you're a guest, but it's really your show, right? If we got a podcast and I didn't show up, you may or may not have that episode. 9 times out of 10, you're probably not even going to have the episode. You know what I'm saying? Unless that that podcast is heavier on the host or co-host, they could just do an episode. But most podcasts have a guest.
Yeah.
So the guest has to realize they're kind of like that main attraction, right? So they need to come and then steer the ship, sometimes causing friction on the host. Like, yo, why you ask me that? Matter of fact, why you wearing that shirt, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like create moments that are natural, that you're not expecting, that's going to create a response, because that could be something that could be used later. You know what I'm saying? Also, have a commercial. If you got a commercial for your product and service, if you don't have one, shoot one on set. I always tell my clients, every new podcast you go on, shoot an ad for your thing so you can use it, and then you have something fresh that you can run an ad on. Or, you know what I'm saying, if that podcast allow you to, you can put that insert in your episode. So now you have multiple call to actions. And actually have a call to action, right? If you want to convert viewers and listeners into dollars, you need to get the data. So if you're not giving them something for free that's valuable, you can't capture the data, because one episode is a legion forever, right? If it's a text keyword, if it's a domain, and you keep it active, you can always get leads.
Yeah.
So if that podcast that you're on starts really going crazy, or if you become more popular, those episodes are going to become more popular. Like the catalog that you just created will be more popular. You know what I'm saying? So those are a couple things that you want to do. Now, afterwards, you want to make sure you get your content folder, right? And then what's your redistribution plan, right? So right now, YouTube is a great place where people should be, because if I want to do business with Cody, I might look him up, right? It might bring me to a YouTube page, but what if your YouTube page is busted? I should be able to learn 5, 10, 15, 20 hours of your content without you being present for me to decide if I want to work with you. But I could do that on YouTube if you have videos. So the easiest way for you to have videos is just repurpose your podcast content, put it on the YouTube at the very least. Then you could take that and chop it up into segments. So one of the best people, in my opinion, that does this is Shannon Sharp. So if you look at Club Shay Shay, and let's just take the joint he did with Cat Williams, for example. Do you know how many pieces of long-form content came out of that one podcast? 36. So these ain't clips. The podcast episode was about 3 hours. So he did 35 additional long-form pieces of content that were at least 5 to 15 minutes or more from that one podcast. Yeah. So now you can digest that podcast separately, which will lead you to digesting more of that content. So collectively, that episode got over 100 million views. Cause they didn't just post one. They posted all of the segments, right? So repurpose all your content. Then what's your social media strategy? Are you on all the social medias, right? People are like, man, I don't want to post that much. I don't want, they might be tired of seeing my clips. Are you tired of getting in front of people? How can you be someone that has content when most people don't have content? You're talking about what you do, telling a story, solving a problem, and you're talking about these people probably tired of seeing my face. That don't even make no sense. And you're not running no ads on your social media, so they're not even pushing you like that. You have to get more shots up. How you going to score 30 without no attempts?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. So you want to make sure you have a social media plan across all the platforms, right? Post as much as you can based on your capacity. Email campaign. So you definitely at the very least got to send out an email letting people know that there's a new episode featuring you. You know what I'm saying? Text message blast, LinkedIn, X, you know what I'm saying? Facebook. This is just on one delivery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're doing segments, you should be, hey, I was on this podcast. Oh, we talked about this. This clip is about this. Roll that out. And guess what? All that content, at least a long form, can also have commercials and call to actions back to your workshops, your webinars, your digital products, your book of calls.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. All of this does sound like a lot. You know what I mean?
If you're an entrepreneur or business owner with a proven product or service and you want to sell more, do more business, grow your list, grow your audience, and get more people to know exactly who you are, The number one thing that you should be doing is podcast guesting. It's literally where people are spending the most time, right? Finding podcasts, listening to podcasts, learning new things, finding out who these people are, and they're spending the time on YouTube and also the audio platforms. My question to you is, why aren't you on podcasts? Why aren't you doing more podcasts? And how come podcasting as a guest is not in your strategy? You should literally be on 2 to 4 podcasts every single week, every single month, so people can learn about you, your message, how you help people, and also get a little bit more understanding with your story. People literally spend more money with people that they like and people that they connect with. So if your competitor literally is known in a space and you're not, guess where they're going to spend the money? They're going to spend it with them. But using podcasts to get more known, become a category king and queen, you are going to be the main person in the space, the go-to person in their space. And not only do we handle the booking, the scheduling, the logistic, the negotiation to help you get on podcasts, we also help you get on small stages and do influencer marketing collabs. Plus, we got the strategy to help you not only go on these podcasts and get amazing content, we also got the strategies for the redistribution, which is probably the number one thing that most entrepreneurs that go on podcasts or most guests that go on podcasts don't do. They literally go on these shows and they hope the shows do all the heavy lifting. But what we do is we go over a strategy with you and we give you direction on how you can redistribute and get the maximum opportunity offer every single podcast that you go on. So if you're looking to grow your brand, if you're looking to get more exposure, if you're looking to become the category king or queen in your space, what you need to do right now is book a call with me or someone from my team, and we can help you become more known. My name is Brendan Boyd. I'm the founder of the Pod Agency, and I'm so excited to meet you, connect with you, and help you become more known in the space by giving you more exposure. Click the link below. Cannot wait to see you on the inside. I mean, you asking me what I would do, so I'm just
no. Here's where I'm going with it. I'm saying it sounds like a lot for a person that might be busy, entrepreneur.
So what they do is they go to podshop.io and take the $3,500 monthly package. We take care of it for them.
I was about to ask you, how can us as podcasters help them out, with this delivery to maximize on the show?
So as a podcaster, right, you got to understand that most podcasters don't know how to make money. So they don't leverage the content. You know what I'm saying? Most podcasters assume the way I'm going to get a bag is with a brand deal, with a sponsor, right? Getting the YouTube money, and I'm going to charge a guest. Outside of that, they don't know how to make no money. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So if you solve the guest problems, what did I just do? I just solved multiple problems. I know that a guest is going to come on a show and then drop the ball after that.
Yeah.
They're not going to repurpose the content. They're not going to put it on YouTube. They're not going to clip it up. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. So, okay, let's solve that problem. What's the next problem? Are they going to run the email campaign? Probably not. Do they have a CRM? Maybe 50% of them might have a CRM. You can solve that problem. What about editing? Most entrepreneurs and business owners need editors.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? You can provide the editing. There's a lot of different things you can do. All the problems I saw came from me just being in the space and just being aware of what the hell's going on. Like, I remember, I don't know who first made me aware of this, but if you're someone and you don't know what to sell, there's a couple ways for you to figure out what's a problem in your life that you struggle with. You know what I'm saying? What are you seeing and what you hearing from other people that they're struggling with? You know what I'm saying? And then what's an improvement offer? So let's say doors open on the left. You're like, well, doors should be opening on the right. So that's an improvement offer. So what is something that you can just improve upon? You know what I'm saying? And you just improve them. That's 3 things. So if you can solve one of those problems, or if you can answer one of those questions, that's an offer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's something that people, anything that would make anything easier for somebody, like Elon got these robots. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my friend Angelica, you know what I'm saying? Untying Knots. She was the first one that was like, I'm going to get a robot. I'm like, yo, that makes sense. Because I want one too. You can be at the crib, literally do everything. You know what I'm saying? A little housemate situation, 30 bands. That's cheap, bro. For that, you just be at home, just everything done for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anything that's going to solve a problem is a premium offer, and there is a particular client for you for that. And media is one thing that a lot of people overlook. So I got this strategy. I'll give you guys a strategy. I gave it to Backview earlier. I call it the 10K podcast strategy. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you guys are motion and success, you might already have a little bit of motion, so it might be the 20K podcast strategy for y'all. But this is a strategy that any beginner podcaster can do, right? So if you're a beginner podcaster or you already have a podcast with some episodes, right? The most valuable people that need you are service-based providers. These are people that have a product or service, and that product or service is contingent upon actually getting more and more people, right? You would say that sounds like most products, but we're specifically talking about the realtors. Mm-hmm. They need leads, right? Financial services and insurance. You know what I'm saying? Anyone that's in finance. You know what I'm saying? Solar. These people have money. They need leads. So what I would do is I would invite them to come on the pod. I would charge them to come on the pod, but I would build a live event around them. Now you're giving them two things. You're giving them a live podcast in front of an audience, right? And you're giving them the opportunity to present their thing in like a workshop. So you charge them $10K and you put the whole thing on for them.
Wait. You gotta slow it down a little bit. You said a live event.
Yep. Yeah, you getting it.
Crazy.
All right, so
you getting it.
I get the part where we charge them to come on because they need leads.
Yep.
So now live event, what do you mean, like a webinar?
So you do. So what you do is you do a 1-day event. In
person or live?
1-day event, right? Rent a space, get a pair of space or big studio. Set up the park.
Would this be good?
Yep. No, you need audience.
Okay.
So you need because you're gonna sell the tickets.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So you need something that's gonna hold at least 100 people. Let's just say plus or minus, right? So, if you got equipment, it's gonna be easier because you own the equipment. But if you don't own equipment, 10K is probably enough for you to rent something for the day and still have an ROI, right? But essentially, what you want to do is rent out a space, charge that service-based provider. They pay for everything. You know what I'm saying? Then the event's going to be based in two parts. One part's going to be they can give their presentation for an hour or two, almost like a seminar. Bonus, we're going to interview this individual live. They get two things. They get they get three, but they really get two things, right? They get a live podcast, which would have been their regular podcast interview that you would have just charged them whatever or not charged them at all. They get a live event in front of people that they really want. That's content 2 times. They get the content from the podcast and they get the content from the live event, and you both share that data from the tickets that you sold. And you could take a percentage of that money that they paid and you can run ads on to make sure you fill up the room. What do they need? Clients. Would you provide them with clients and content and a live podcast? So and you get the money up front. And you guys can do a 50-50 rev share if you want on the tickets on the back end.
So what would be a strategy on filling the room? Running ads and things like that?
Well, if they already have a sphere of influence in the database, they've been selling homes, or if they providing solar or funding or whatever, they're gonna email them, hey, catch us live. We can be doing a live event and we're doing a live podcast. People are gonna buy tickets. If you guys got a following, you know what I'm saying, of people that email list, text message list, same thing. Blast that out. Hey, we're doing a live podcast with these guys. Right here. We're doing a live podcast with with XYZ realtor or whatever, right? But you want to fill the room, meaning you want to over deliver. Yeah. Right? So I would take $500, $1,000, you know what I'm saying, and I would run ads in our local area of the city to ensure that people show up. You know what I'm saying? And you could do a low ticket or a free ticket and then like a marquee ticket, $100, something. You ain't trying to break them, but you want to be able to recoup a little bit of bread, but then put them in a room where they can sign people up or get a book appointments for whatever they got going on.
Yeah, that's game
that's a
right
10K
there.
pot.
And it kind of reminded me of something that you had mentioned too a while back. You was I think you mentioned like having a live podcast before with one of the entrepreneur guests that we have on.
Yeah, but you juice it up when you do it like that.
Yeah,
because it's like you package it in a way where they don't even expect that they're gonna get all of that. It's kind of like you're underselling it, but you're over and delivering it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's 10K. Live event, live podcast, we're going to take care of it. They're going to come in there, they're going to be 100 people in the room, bro.
Shit. You can't say no to that.
Who's going to say no to that? And you're going to be able to make money with them on the back end. And most likely they're going to either want to run it back or they're going to tell their colleagues to run it back.
And then you're going
But y'all motion is success, so that's probably at least like 2025 right there.
Yeah, because I'm even sitting here thinking, I'm like, a lot of the guests we bring on, especially entrepreneur guests, like we had a couple over the past few weeks, we got them like millions of views.
Of course.
Millions of views. Their webinars is flooded. People hitting our DMs. It's crazy. And
like 1,000 plus, 2,000
plus 3,000 followers. And it's like we sit here and we're like, how could we, make our profits on the back end?
Yeah, you could do a rev share joint because now you got proof of concept.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, we ran a webinar. Well, we did a podcast to promote a webinar with this guy, and this guy. This is what they did off it. So if you want to do, we know exactly how to make sure we steer the interview to get certain moments.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, this is the price on the front end, and on the back end, our ticket sales, give us an affiliate link, but we're going to do a 50-50 split or 30% rev share, whatever you want to do. But Ask Cash used to do that. So you would charge them like 10 plus on the front end and then have a rev share on the back end. So you could do something like that. But yeah, that play I just gave you, if y'all are paying attention, bro.
Yeah, that's
if y'all watching,
right
y'all
there.
paying attention, I would run that. But y'all should definitely run that. You could test that out for sure.
Hell yeah. For like, would you recommend like entrepreneurs? Because it's like different type of podcasts.
Yeah.
It's like you got hip hop podcasts, you got entrepreneurship podcasts, you got relationship podcasts. Do you recommend them in terms for their business to get on just any podcast, or are you looking for one that's like, this one is talking about entrepreneurship? I think it's better for you to go on that.
I think it's a combination of both. I think they should definitely hit the main parts that they want to hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In that particular space. But I think it's also important for you to, be a little bit more wide and broad to new audiences, right? I said this on Backview. There could be an entrepreneur or business person who might be hanging out with his girl or his wife or whatever, or, vice versa, whatever the case may be. She might be watching 90 Day Fiance. You could have had an opportunity to get on that show. Right? And then he discovers someone on that show that's in this particular category, like, yo, I'm gonna follow this person. Right? Or let's say, you had an opportunity to be on like a ratchet show or something like that. People like entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So you can't go on there with the idea like, there's no value here. Nah, there's value everywhere. Some people just like what they like. You know what I'm saying? They might like, some TV that might be a little spicy, but you won't catch them on, let's say, at like an Ed Milet. They might not be watching Ed Milet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They might not be watching Lewis Howes or something, but they might really be watching the ratchet stuff.
Yeah.
But they really making it back. So sometimes you gotta like meet people where they're at. You know what I'm saying? And understand in the world of micro content, that ratchet podcast might bring you the best clips. And if you have a call to action, if you got an automation, that might still bring them back to where you are. And if you understand content, you could use that content for your own campaigns. So it's not just about that platform. It's about what we talked about earlier. What are we doing with the content? What's our play afterwards? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going on everything. Don't even matter.
That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point because I was even seeing some entrepreneurs, they were running ads with their $1 million worth of game episodes. They were running like a lot of ads, and that podcast right there is a little bit different. Like it's more so like you talking about hip hop, you talking about sports, but I'm assuming because they got like they got the status of being next to Gillian Wallow, so I feel like that helps a lot to throw ads along with it.
Well, the thing about it is two things. Most people think when you invest in a podcast, you're forgetting that you're actually borrowing that person's brand identity. You know what I'm saying? You're borrowing their brand equity. It's like, what's homeboy Art Lander, right? I don't know if you've seen Art Lander. He was able to get a portrait that he did sign from Trump. Of course, that boosted his start. He borrowed Trump's celebrity. You know what I'm saying? So that little micro moment when he was on stage for maybe a minute or two, but that photos he got, the videos he got, he could sell forever with that clip right there. So that's why it's important. Like, yeah, okay, cool. We're gonna shoot the podcast. We're gonna get some pictures. Can I get a story with you? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tee up a little video. I'm gonna need you to say this, or I'm gonna ask you certain questions. Just respond how you respond. You want to get as much content as possible. That's what I always tell my clients. So, get some B-roll content. You could do your words on screen.
Yeah.
Get some content in front of the logo. Run one of your commercials, because that's another opportunity for you to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So capture all these micro pieces of content that you could utilize later.
I ain't gonna lie, Brendan. I think this might be a little bit different from your typical podcast, But I wanted to ask you, do you mind doing like a quick audit? Like, say, for example, like what we might not be doing, what we should be doing, how we could pick up, the slack in
Well, what
certain
y'all doing
areas.
and what y'all not doing?
Yeah, like based off of your experience, like like a social media audit, YouTube
All right, okay,
audit.
all right. So the first thing I would have done, right? Right here? What? Shout out to the producer. You know what I'm saying? Yo, all right. The first thing I would do is I would have a booking link.
Mm-hmm.
If you have almost like a funnel form for anyone that wants to come on the pod, right? Send them the link. It might have a little video, y'all. It may or may not. Hey, what's going on? This is Ayo Cody, Motion Success. We're excited to have you on the podcast. Listen, our podcast is about boom, boom, boom. Do us a quick favor, fill out this little form, and then book your time on a pod.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, that's going to allow them to get our automation, let you guys know when they book, what day they book, what time they book. They can fill out a slot. They can even pay on there if you wanted them to. And it could be an upsell. I do this with my podcast, right? That takes a second. And then, like, if you're like, okay, we're only going to shoot, let's say Thursday, Friday, Saturdays at this time, the majorities of your bookings can be in those. But if you have to make some concessions here and there, you just make those concessions.
Yeah.
But that'll streamline it because now you got names, numbers, emails all in your CRM.
Yeah.
So anytime you're like, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast, we're doing a special. Now you can get some people to come back on a, you know what I'm saying? You get people come back for it the second time. So I would definitely do that, 100%, right? And even if you want to do some merch, you can have an upsell in there. You can upsell some merch, upsell another offer in there. So I would definitely do that. Second thing, I started doing this. I wasn't doing this earlier. I would have maybe you could probably do, have an assistant do it or one of y'all could do it. Do like a follow-up. You know what I'm saying? So let me know. This is what a lot of podcasters don't do. When's my podcast dropping?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What's my delivery look like? And give me an update. You know what I'm saying? And outside of that, you could give me a follow-up. How was the pod overall? What would you improve? Would you not improve? What was your experience like?
Yeah.
Because most people will leave, they have no idea what they're actually getting, if they're getting anything, and when the joint dropping.
Kind
You know
of
what I'm
guilty conscience.
You know what I'm saying?
We do that a little bit.
Yeah. And I've been there, so I understand, bro. I had like 20 podcasts just tucked away. People texting me when my joint coming out. Yeah. And I'm prioritizing people that pay because they pay.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
But it's still like you still have to let people know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would definitely do that. YouTube, and this is me just going off rip because I haven't looked at y'all stuff. YouTube, I would add segments if y'all don't have those. So when you deliver a podcast, you might have that full video. Give me one or two extra long form videos with my package. It's gonna give y'all more views anyway. It's gonna give the guests more views, and it's gonna give you more content for YouTube. So I would definitely do that. I know y'all doing a VIP package, so I would make sure you do that full content folder. I don't know what y'all have in there. What's in your current VIP package?
So we give them out clips.
Yeah. How many?
About 8 clips.
Okay, that's good.
And then we offer them the full podcast episode, like raw.
Yep.
In less than 24 hours.
In less than 24 hours. And then also the ad.
Yep.
They can record an ad. We're going to throw it in a future episode.
Dope.
And then what else do we
If
have?
you want early release.
Yeah, if you want early release is an option as well.
And sometimes B-roll and pictures, depending on what
I would
studio.
definitely throw B-roll and pictures in 100%. What you probably can do at an added bonus, have like a photo wall. You know what I'm saying? Like a designated area where you can take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
That might be dope too. You know what I'm saying? Because people might want that. Almost like an Instagram type of wall. You know, you go to a place that's like, oh yeah, that's
the signature wall.
That's the signature wall.
Yeah,
I need that one.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So that'll be cool. I would definitely add that in. But no, those is good. Another thing you could do is encourage them if they got an affiliate offer.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, listen, we'll throw your affiliate in there. Just give us a link.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's also a good upsell. If you have, hey, if you give us the affiliate link, for this price, if you want, we'll run it through a couple more episodes. But you can actually have that in a promo package where you can run their commercial and affiliate links in like another 4, 8, 12 for the season. You know what I'm saying? That could be a nice little promo pack. So I could do some. I mean, I would do something like that.
Yes. Bro, that's
See that part, that's game right there. Cause we be like, yo, we could throw in a affiliate link, but people never really get back to us on the affiliate link.
Cause you're talking to people that don't know the value, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. But if you talk about some heavy entrepreneurs that's getting the bag, they know the value of the affiliate link, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's, bro, whether or not it's popping or not, if I give you the affiliate, it still gives me an opportunity to make some money on that episode.
exactly.
That's gonna be on YouTube forever.
Yeah.
Why not? You know what I'm saying? It does. I mean, I would do it.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And that, this is me. Just I ain't seen nothing. I'm just going off the top of what I think. But obviously we could do a deeper dive. But those are things I would do off top.
Yeah. We definitely gonna show you the numbers and everything, after the episode and get your opinion.
I would definitely do that for sure.
But I was gonna say,
ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, like, how's life, in Miami? Like,
Bro,
how's everything?
Miami
going?
popping. I ain't gonna lie. I think everybody need a spot in Miami, in my opinion. Well, first of all, before we even talk about Miami, if you watching this podcast and you living in the same city that you was born in, and you're in your 30s, your late 20s, or your 40s, you need to switch it up, bro. You can't be born and dying in the same city, bro. That shit don't make no sense. So the country's big, let alone the world. You gotta experience different things.
yeah,
Because you won't even dream bigger or think bigger if you go to the same corner store that you've been going to since you was 7. When back when you can buy cigarettes. You probably can't do that now. But back when you didn't have to show ID to buy cigarettes, but now it's a newer bodega and another person bought it, or now you know what I'm saying? But it's the same place. You need to move, bro.
right.
Y'all gotta go to new area. But yeah, Miami's dope, bro. The water's crazy. It's inspiration everywhere. From the cars to the yachts to the water to how people living. Everyone's doing something. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's doing something to get some money, which is good. People are in shape. Women look good. Men are in shape. I don't see no fat people in Miami, bro. I'm not saying they're not in Florida, but I'm not really seeing no overweight people, bro. You know what I'm saying? At least not in Miami.
I'm thinking.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking it's probably because some people working out, but some people also they getting cut up.
Yeah.
So it's like 50-50.
Man,
like
yeah,
50-50. Yeah.
I ain't seen it though. I ain't seen it. I think if you're visiting Miami, you're gonna get the inspiration.
Yeah.
From somewhere.
Yeah.
From somewhere. And if you like being in the water, there's tons of like water activities. You know what I'm saying? They got the jet packs where you just fly out the water.
Yeah.
It just kind of shoot you up. Jet skis, jet boarding, yachting, fishing. I mean, the lizards is crazy though.
So
Miami really like a zoo though. Like regular cities a zoo. You're gonna see a duck.
Lizards
you know what I'm
everywhere.
saying? Yeah. Lizards, all types of shit just pop up. Roosters, it's outside, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I saw a peacock the other day.
Yeah, you gotta go out there, bro.
Definitely gotta go out there one day. So now
You ain't been to Miami before?
Nah, I've been to Florida multiple times.
Well, first of
but
all,
not
now it's
Miami.
probably the perfect time for you to go. It's getting cold.
Yeah.
I mean, we in New York, bro. So you got November, December, January, February, March. You got 5 months to go at least 3 times.
That's true.
It's nice. That's probably the best time for you to go.
That's definitely true. If I got any opportunities, I'll go out there for sure.
You make the opportunity. You got a podcast. So what I would do is, hey, what's going on? Motion and Success. We live in Miami for the week. You want to book a podcast? Do podcast in Miami and get paid. Bro, y'all clearly need a manager.
That's I'm
and what's
over here
crazy is like
I ain't trying to ask no Miami questions. I'm thinking about making.
What's crazy is that
shit.
because in on Instagram you can see the hidden folder in the DMs. It's just a long list of people like, I want to get on the pod. I want to get on the pod, and it's just like certain people like you trying to do your due diligence, but then it's like you're looking through their profile. You're like that's another thing with podcasting because you also want to have the right guests on. Also do a background. Make sure everything's pretty much.
But
legit.
if you want the money, you do a B show.
A what show?
I do a B show.
What's that?
Motion and Success Light. So if they don't match up to the main show, give them the B show.
Oh,
What do you
Like
mean?
the
Like
light.
a
So, like for instance,
like a 10-minute show
yeah, well, it could be. Well, when I say beat, it could just be a different show, not your main show, but yeah, it could be a shorter podcast as well.
on a different channel?
It could be on a different channel or in a playlist. You could put it in a different playlist on the same channel if you want. You be like, yo, listen, unfortunately, you don't meet the characteristics for our main show, but we think you got an amazing story. We got another podcast called M&S. You would be perfect for that because we like to bring on new entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the price. We're gonna be in Miami live for 7 days. Pull up. Just pivot. Give them another show. It ain't about canceling them. Sometimes people just need motion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because what if I'm successful, but my Instagram is trash? I'm not outside digitally, but I still make money. I still got posture. I still got a cool story.
Right.
They might be perfect for the B show. And then you interview, you're like, yo, matter of fact, we want to have you on the main show now. Yeah. So now they paid you almost like a Legion, but they paid you to come on the other show. Now they're on a show that they really want to be on, and they paid you for that too. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it's almost like a pod close. It's my pod close strategy. So using podcasting as a lead gen, right? And then you close them. So that would be like you close them on your high ticket, which would be the main show.
So that's what I wanted to get into. So now let's say, for example, I'm in the funding industry, right? I want to help people, small business owners, get funding. How can I use my podcast as a leverage to go out and build either affiliates, clients, or, just make money from funding? Let's say, for example, that's the industry. Well, how can I use that? Like,
the first thing I would do is I would have your funding company sponsor the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm literally about to do this because I did a partnership with Brandon and Tevin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Millionaire Essentials. So, if that's your biggest, if that's like one of your biggest offers that you want to do, I would have it sponsor your show.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Motion Success. This podcast is sponsored by XYZ Funding. Mm-hmm. If you're looking to get funding for your business, you know who to call.
Yeah.
Click the link below or text funding to blah, 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 blah. That's your main title sponsor. I would even get a logo for it and put that brand as a watermark on the episodes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you interview me, you learn my story, you know what I'm saying? We build a relationship, we build some rapport, we've been rocking for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever. It's easy to be like, yo, Brendan, so you're in I see that you're in, you got an aquarium business. Okay. How long you been doing that? I've been doing it for a couple years. Yeah, but I've been using my own money. Oh, did you know that if you got a properly structured LLC, you can get access for funding?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to use none of my money. Bro, you didn't know that? Oh, yo, bro, we got to book a call. So you use that podcast to close them as a legion, and you close them. So you should be having a conversation every single time, because people that sit in this seat, they're a warm lead, and they actually a hot lead after the podcast is over. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely always mention it.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously not a finance person, because they typically probably already know what it is. But if it's a non-finance person that's not in financial literacy, that has a business, I would do it. There's a lot of people right now that have a really good credit score, but they're not doing nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're afraid, or they just didn't know what opportunities they have. Like, I helped my friend buy an e-com store, you know what I'm saying, by getting access to funding. You know what I'm saying? But she was in perfect position to do so. So now you got people that probably want to make some extra money because life is getting expensive now, right? And then you got some people that just don't know funding was opportunity. When I started my first two businesses, I used all my money. I even leveraged that piece of property that I had. I didn't even know funding was an option.
Right.
Y'all, I would have been perfect for y'all. Right? So there's a lot of people out there that got the clothing companies, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Rappers,
so now
they don't know.
If we were to have like the C segment, like a B segment or whatever the case may be, and then let's say, for example, it's just me and that person that I want to interview, Ayo might not be in the episode because
y'all
intentionally.
Y'all both don't need to be in it. So it could be you sometimes, it could be you solo sometimes. Y'all don't both gotta be in it.
So I can intentionally get on guests that I want to possibly close or bring on as an affiliate.
100%.
That's what I really wanted to know. Like, I feel like the whole podcast right here is fulfilled because that was my biggest question. Because I was thinking
you're
about
welcome.
Doing that.
I'll send you the invoice. You know what I'm saying? I'll send you the invoice, bro.
That was my biggest question because, I'm thinking about getting into the funding industry with these gentlemen right here, and start closing more deals because I'm like, yo, we have a podcast. This thing is getting millions of views and we're not really making as much money as we should be,
It's only because y'all ain't tapped in, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all should have been tapped into Podcaster Profits, man.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But the way that you're thinking is the proper way to think.
Yeah.
Because most podcasts are not thinking about offers. They're just thinking about doing a show. I'm telling you, brand deals, sponsors, YouTube money, and charging the guests.
Enough.
No, but that's what most people think they're getting money from.
Yeah.
Most podcasters don't even have digital products at all. You can remix the content. This episode that we just made, we could turn this into a digital product and do a 50-50 rev share forever. You could do that with every single episode you drop, technically. Plus all the other ways we talked about that you could put inside those episodes. I don't know. I'm just trying to show y'all how to get some money with the content that you're creating. But y'all just want to get money from YouTube, brand deals, sponsorships.
No, I want to get
not
money.
y'all. I'm talking about them.
I'm like,
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about them. Because
Okay.
that's what they thinking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they thinking about. And what I'm saying is this. I'm not saying don't get a brand deal or a sponsor.
Right.
Or not to make money on YouTube. It's not the fastest way. But you can still get money that way. So you get the momentum from the other ways you can make money, the non-traditional ways. And then as your show grows, leverage, get a brand deal. One of my favorite, can I give another strategy real quick?
For sure.
We're in New York. Where tell me a cafe that you go to or a restaurant that you go to or a spot that you guys like to frequent. It could be anything. Anything in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Breakfast spot.
Local taco. I mean, a pizza spot that I enjoy going.
You go there a
to
couple
now.
times?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, you?
I'll say probably like I'm mostly at the gym.
Do they got marketing?
Nah, they don't even got a real social media. type
Exactly.
page.
So I got this strategy called the local brand deal. Where you go to places that you already spend money at.
Yeah.
You say, yo, Jim, what's good, man? Yo, that bagel I love this bagel. This is my favorite spot. I don't know if you knew, man, we got a podcast, bro. So we got an opportunity for a business like yours to actually sponsor our show. You know what I'm saying? So it's only gonna be $1,000 for 4 episodes, Jim. You know what I'm saying? And we'll do a commercial right here for you, and we'll put it in every single episode. Yo, go get 5 of those, bro. That's 5 bins locally from people that you already have relationships with. Go get your local brand deals. What I live in Miami, so what's the acai spot that you go to? What's the Cuban spot that you go to?
Playa Bowls.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the spot that you go to get coffee or a supermarket? You know what I'm saying? Maybe a cleaners or something.
Barbershop. too.
Exactly. Most of these businesses have no marketing. You have the platform to provide the marketing, and if you want to really sauce it on top, you could give them a little mini interview. Go get 5 of those. That's 5 bands. Now you got a $5,000 brand deal. Or if they really got some motion, sign them for the whole year. Or just get them on a little demo and then bring it back to them like, yo, these 4 episodes were cool, bro. Yeah, yo, I need to go the whole year. So go get that local brand deal and then leverage the local brand deal for a bigger one.
Yeah.
Because now you got proof of concept. You got 3 or 4 brand deals from legitimate businesses that you can go and now you can go get a DJI or you can go get a Marriott or something. Matter of fact, some of these hotels might be easier to get than you think because they're really franchises. So I might own a Spring Hill Suites Marriott. That's not corporate owned. So you can talk to me because I'm one of the franchise owners and maybe I can sponsor your podcast from my particular franchise of Marriott. Now you got Marriott as a sponsor, which looks bigger for your podcast. You can leverage that and go get an AT&T. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to Joe and the Juice in Miami right now. So we talking about that right now. Because I go there and I always get the vegan sandwich. That shit's popping, by the way.
That's a sponsor
You know
right
what I'm
there.
saying?
Yeah.
They got this avocado sandwich. That shit go crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I would do. So you can go get a local brand deal with the relationships from the places that you spend money with every single day, every single week. That they know you on a either by face or first name basis, they'll throw you 500,000 off the relationship to see how it goes. But you actually have a real tangible deliverable that you can give them back that they could use.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Like I feel like we definitely could leverage the platform. We're not leveraging it as much as we really could, bro. You know what I mean? I do want to jump into, because you do something a little bit different. You got a podcast agency.
Yeah.
So you sent us a few guests, and usually the guest is always coming back from another pod. So I'm yo, they going from pod to pod to pod, and I always wondered, like, what's the strategy behind that? I know you said to repurpose content.
Yeah.
But how do you make sure that the returns is there for them, and like, making sure like, they get their money's worth, or like, help like their business is doing better based on all those pods they do.
Well, the first thing we got to do is just make sure they understand the maximization. So if it's a new person going on a show, if it's a new person going on a show, it's like, all right, do you understand the assignment? Right? Do you have a call to action? Do you have a funnel? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a way to get data? If you don't have that, we shouldn't even go on the podcast yet. We got to get you in proper position first. Now, once they have that, and they actually have something of value to give away, I want to make sure what they give away is something for free, because that free thing is going to drive more people to click that link or give them their information. Now, after they click that link and give them their information, they can then trigger them to whatever low ticket or event that they want, because they got the data, or they can remarket to them later. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure they have the basics covered. So when they're, if I'm hooping, I want to make sure that I got everything I need when I'm in the game. You know what I'm saying? Now, outside of that, we want to make sure, okay, what category are you in business? And then are there other platforms, in your area that we can maximize and go on? And sometimes it's not always a podcast. Sometimes it could be an influencer collab. Yeah. Someone that does short form content that might have a skit, and it's like you're featured in their skit, because that's going to get you exposure, right? See, we want to hit all platforms that make sense, and then we're always going to leverage that platform on that back end, either through ads, you know what I'm saying, or we're going to pay for the highest package, right? So I had a client that asked me the other day. He was like, yo, I'm not trying to go over no podcast that costs $15K. That sounds crazy. I'm like, yo, what offer you got? He was like, yo, I got an offer for $15K.
Why not?
I'm like, all right, bro. So you got an offer for $15K, and you don't want to invest $15,000 and get in front of hundreds, 6-figure audience, potentially a 7-figure audience, that you only need to sell one thing, and this content you could reuse forever. He was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or even if you got a 5K offer, we're talking about 3 sales, right? So it's a mindset thing where it's like, especially if you're a newer entrepreneur, you never really had money like that, so it's like all new to you. You might be a little afraid. Or maybe you just got funding, but you never actually had the opportunity to spend 5-6 figures in a month, or high 4 or 5 figures in a month. You might be a little gun shy, a little nervous about investing in marketing. But the people that invest the most in marketing are the ones that's going to get the most return. If you don't invest in no marketing right now, but you got in front of 10 people and 2 people bought your thing, you don't think more people that know about you are going to buy your thing? Yeah. That's a 20% conversion rate. So if you got in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people with that same conversion rate, you're going to get at least 20%. But this is the thing. If you're set up properly, you get all that data. You can remarket to them and then get another 20%. Right? So the money actually isn't the thing. You might be afraid in your capacity to perform, or your capacity to convey your message. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think that'd be the thing too.
That's the thing.
That's where people feel like, oh man, if I spend this money, I don't know if I'm gonna actually make this money back. You know,
bro, let me tell you this. I've been on multiple stages where I paid to be in the room, and I paid to talk on the stage, or I paid to get there. Every single time I talk on the stage, I make at least $15,000-$20,000 by getting in front of people. So after the 4th time, I'm like, damn, maybe I need to intentionally make my own stages, and then 2, have my team book me on stages that I don't even know about. Because every time I get on there, I'm making some money. So now that means every time I sit down and have a mic in front of me, or I stand up with a mic on a stage in front of people, I'm closing the deal. Or I'm getting more people to know, like, trust me, subscribe to my thing, follow me, whatever I got going on. and then we can close them on the back end. I was just at Credit Summit. I made $20,000 at Credit Summit, and I didn't even pitch an offer.
Wow.
I was just on the stage doing my thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So people need to be encouraged that you can't be afraid of investing the money in yourself to get in front of more people when you're already closing deals. It's only going to bring more people in front of you so you can close more deals.
Yeah.
You're not wasting the money.
Yeah.
Wasting the money is spending it on an expense or a liability that's not going to bring you a return, especially if you're not using it to make lifestyle content to bring you leads. You know what I'm saying? That would be a waste of money.
So what would be like for an entrepreneur? Like let's say they got like a big event coming up, or most people are doing a challenge now.
Yeah. I got one by the way, December 9th.
What would you? Yeah, oh yeah.
Audience growth challenge.
They got to tap
that
into
link
that
right now.
What would you say is like a great combination? Like let's say they want to fill the room up, or they want to really have as much people as possible attend their event. Like what would you say is that marketing cocktail for it to just blow up for a huge success?
So I think number one is you got to spend money. You want to get on podcasts consistently, but you want to probably invest on some bigger ones. You probably want to. Okay, before I say that, you want to identify your budget. Let's identify your budget first. So if your budget's 10K, 15, 20K, 5K, whatever, you want to maximize that money. So whatever your budget is, I would find 1, 2, or 3 podcasts that's going to give you some motion. You know what I'm saying? And then the other the other platforms, they might be smaller or free, or maybe, what I like to do, I think one of the things that is kind of overshadowed is communities. So a lot of these entrepreneurs have communities that they need guests to come in and give value. They're not charging you on the front end to do that. I would find 5, 10, 15 communities that you can speak in and give your presentation, and you can close them on your ticket sales to come to your event.
Where would you find these people?
So I mean, if you're in the spaces where entrepreneurs are, you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, we're in an environment where a lot of the people that we're moving and shaking are in Atlanta, they're in New York, you know what I'm saying? Dallas, like Texas, areas like that, Houston, areas like that. So these are entrepreneurs that have digital products, that have mentorships, that have high ticket offers, right? Mm-hmm. And their downsells are technically either a community that might be a monthly subscription or a free community that you just want to get people in a room, right? Even Charles got one. Like I'm going to speak in front of Charles's community next week. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's going to be about at least 100 people showing up on the Zoom. So 100 people showing up on the Zoom, let's use that 20% conversion rate. That's what's that, 20 people?
Yeah. 20
people buying, let's say it's a $97 ticket. What's that? 2 bands?
Yeah.
For me to shuck and jive for like 30, 45 minutes?
Not bad.
Right? And then they're going to come to the event, and then I'm going to upsell them on the thing. But all those people, they pay me on the front end, and I have all their data so I can market to them forever. So you want to get on podcasts. You want to get on, get into some communities.
Yeah.
I would probably spend a little bit of money on ad spend. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely go live, but I would only go live with a guest. I think how live is right now, you need guests so you can get more people in the room. You know what I'm saying? And I will look at influencers that have YouTube channels or big platforms that don't have products and services, because now you can collab or leverage them. They got the audience, you got the product or service, right? So there's a lot of YouTubers that just got views, right? There's a lot of influencers that just make funny videos or videos that come from a certain angle, but they're not really selling nothing. You can collaborate with them too. So I think a lot of things like that, you really just kind of put all that stuff together, and then you make your own ads. Like you need to start getting outside and showing people, some of the best things to do when you do these collabs, find influencers that are doing those skits or whatever, and you get into their energy. So if there's somebody like Funny Salesman, he always doing the hey, what's going on in the shoe joint, get into that, because now it's showing your audience that, oh, this is a real person. You know what I'm saying? He's not always that serious. She's not always that serious. Yeah. Okay, I follow this guy. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Trump does that all the time. Yeah. So it's like you want to do things like that. Anything that you could do to get in front of more people or show people that, there's a other side to you that they also may be interested in or attracted to. That's gonna help you help you promote your thing. And then obviously you want to put some money behind it. So run some ads and elevate the awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say, have you had a client who did all of that and whatever they did went crazy?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Smitty's last joint, I think he did like 350.
350,000
in a week.
dollars.
Yeah.
Damn.
But when you're around certain people, bro, you're like, yeah, I could do it, or this is regular.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's important for you to leave the city that you're in, because you're gonna be like, yo, this dude's cap, or that don't make sense, or this is a lie, that's unbelievable, that's never happened, he's talking shit. But once you get in these other rooms, you can see. Even stocks, bro. You know how much money they be making on stocks in a day, in a minute? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You ever watch that show, Billions? Mm-mm. He be like, you know what? I'll just buy that company, $2 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the money's really infinite. Mm. It's just our mindsets have been programmed that we're not dialed into how much abundance is in front of us and around us.
That's a fact.
So that's why you need to be in certain rooms. So hearing that Smitty did 350 in a week, you're like, okay, how'd you do it? Or you had this offer, this amount of people was in the room. Okay, the percentage of closing is this. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's just math.
Yeah.
Mm. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you was in school, you saw these big equations. You was like, oh, yeah, this shit don't even make sense. But once you understand the math, it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because if I do this, you plus this, you subtract this, you divide that, this can only be the answer. 20% of 100 is always going to be 20.
Right.
No matter how you shake it. You know what I'm saying? You could write the 100 different. It could be a different language. It don't matter. It's always going to equal the same thing because the numbers ain't going to lie. So you just do more numbers with the same percentage of ratio. You're going to get a higher equation.
Right. So now, one thing I did realize about you and your business and everything like that, you're around the celebrities, you're around influencers, a lot of people that's, have emotion and successful. What has, podcasting done for you as a guest and as a host? Like, what has it allowed you to do that? It had, like, say, for example, if you didn't have the podcast, it wouldn't have been possible.
I probably wouldn't even be here. I mean, I wouldn't have been in London speaking in front of 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have been at Podcast Summit, wouldn't have been at Podfest. Yeah. There's a lot of people I would never have met if I didn't turn on a camera and decide to interview them. So, if anything, podcasting allows you to develop powerful relationships. At the very least, like, let's put the money aside. Who cares about the monetization? Just from a relationship building standpoint and networking standpoint, your ability to connect with whoever you want is way easier when you have a podcast or show. Mm-hmm. You can any author that you want to connect with, most likely you could just message the author and say, yo, I really enjoyed this book, or this is a book that I want to get into. I would love to talk to you about the book on my podcast. Mm-hmm. What they gonna be like? No, unless they're really, really busy, or they only want a certain level or something. But that's gonna be a small percentage. Most people are gonna be like, yeah, or director this or producer this. I seen this show or whatever. I want to interview you. I got a podcast. They're gonna at least consider it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So at the very least, having the opportunity to build your network of people and that equity, that value, that's is huge.
Any crazy stories you can remember?
Crazy stories probably be,
or like a mind blown story, I'd say.
just on an interview?
No. Like like the podcast to open the door. To now,
so only some people might know this dude, but Jason Fladlin, who goes by the webinar GOAT. Yeah. Actually, did Peter Kell, so I'll tell you the Peter Kell story too. But Jason Fladlin, that goes by the webinar GOAT. I was on a webinar with him. He was doing this thing. At the end, he was like, yo, does anyone have any questions? I was like, yeah, would you come on my podcast? And he was like, yeah. Wow. He gave me the joint. And he was in, I was in LA at the time, and he lived in LA. Mm-hmm. So that happened. And he's someone that made $250 million on a webinar.
He has.
Well, through webinars.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to sit down with him. Peter Kell, that made $40 million twice in a 12-month period. he had just bought a house. I think it was Laguna Beach, and I messaged him like, "Yo, I really want to get you on the podcast. I watched a couple of your YouTube videos. Shit's crazy." He was like, "Yo, I just bought a house, man. This is where I live at. Pull up and we could do it." I had a chance to tour his brand new crib. He just closed on it, right on the water.
Wow.
He didn't have no furniture either. Like literally, he just got the spot. And I had a chance to sit down and interview him right in his crib. The crib was like an $8 million crib. So it's like, well, you got the podcast. It's like, it don't matter, bro. People going to let you in their intimate setting.
That's true.
And don't let your podcast be mobile.
Yeah.
Right? Kizzy Parks, who's very, very solid in government contracting. She live in one of the spots she lives in is in Tulum, Mexico. Mm-hmm. I flew to Tulum and interviewed her in her spot. Because of the podcast, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can get to who you want to get to.
I ain't gonna lie, that almost reminds me of a story with my guy Adam from American Income.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to him yesterday.
I'm like, yo, bro, you could plug us in with this dude? He's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, yo. He live in New York too. Yeah. He's like, yo, if anything, bro, you could just run a pod. I'm like, cool. He's like, you could even run it at his crib. I'm like, you don't even know us. Why you gonna bring us in? Because
you got mics and a camera.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And you got credibility because you got episodes, so you're real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, that's a fact. And before we wrap up too, I did want to mention too, because back when I went to Miami for the Profit to podcast, I was only there for a day, but
we got another one coming up too.
So it was so much value in that one.
That one day.
That one day, and you even had like, I think it was like an 8-figure entrepreneur. So I'm seeing all of these, and I think he's also from Miami too.
Yeah. I think it was Chris.
Yeah. So, and then he also interviewed another Miami entrepreneur, Wes Watson.
Yeah,
so
Wes Watson.
How was that? Like, how are you getting these guys on, like, to even respond to you?
Well, this is the thing. I'm not gonna lie. I paid Wes 100%.
Yeah.
So I paid him as a guest to come on the pod because his audience is huge. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to invest $12K in that moment, and I made 70 back from that. But you can't do that if you don't have products.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you're a podcaster and you don't have products, your shows aren't productized, you'll never be able to have a return like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's case by case. Some people you might need to pay for because they're just like, yo, this is what it is. Some people it's just a ask. Some people it's easy if you adjacently join the mentorship program that they're in. So now y'all are kind of on the same time. Maybe it's a retreat. You know what I mean? Maybe it's at the gym. Maybe it's a relationship, like you said, with American Income. That relationship that you wanted to have the guy on the podcast, he was able to kind of put that together. So sometimes it's something like that, and then sometimes it's just perseverance.
Yeah,
perseverance. Like I've been trying to get with Anthony O'Neill, and him and I be talking, but he keep
that's
like
the dark skin guy.
He do the he used to be with what's the white dude I always be telling you to not go into debt?
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah. So he used to be on Dave Ramsey's show, but he has his own network right now. So him and I be talking, but like it's just it's consistency for that. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like that. You just gotta be persistent. It's a combination of all, I would say.
Nah, this one was hella game, bro. And I want to close with I had heard this well, it was like one of my top people to listen to, and he did mention this, which points back to what you were saying about podcasting. So he was saying like it's 3 forms of like leverage. So I think the last one is labor, and then you got capital, and then you got media. So now, where do you see podcasting, the direction that it's heading to in the future?
Bro, there's so much room out here. There's a lot. Think about it. If Joe Rogan got two $200 million deals from Spotify, one person. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
One person.
Yeah.
That just shows you how big the space is. People making Karen in Georgia, they do I think it's my first murder podcast. It's a murder podcast, but they make $15 million. Wallow and Gilly, they're about $3 or $5 million. These are only 3 people. So it's gonna show you how much space is in there. And people want to be entertained. So as long as you don't quit and you get better at the craft and you actually grow and you put yourself in front of more people and you as podcasters go on shows so you can be discovered and you actually invest in your show, right? It can only go up, bro.
Yeah.
It can only go up.
Nice. That's
I mean,
game.
the evolution has been the video pods. I think the evolution now is like making it a show,
Right.
right? So everyone's doing a sit down joint, but take me on a roll with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me see a walk up. Let me see an intro.
Yeah.
Like make it a show. You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting concept because we did do like a few things like that. Like for example, one time there's this girl. She's in Brooklyn. She has her own hair studio, and we went there instead of doing a podcast here, and it did get some virality because it got to seeing like kind of like a day in her life.
Yeah.
Or it's like, all right, cool. Now we explaining a little bit more of what she's talking about. So now we run around her whole store.
So give me your idea. All right. So for instance, let's say you charge $1,000 for the pod. Somebody come on the show.
Before you say that, is $1,000 reasonable for our podcast? Say for example, we charge $1,000. You think that's reasonable?
I mean, you don't want to ask me, bro. I'm gonna change your price.
Yeah, that's.
Right,
well,
cool.
yeah. I think it's reasonable.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, let's say you charge $1,000.
Yeah.
If you're like, yo, listen, this is our podcast price.
Yeah.
Right. But if you want us to kind of capture a day in the life feel, where we're gonna do an intro, we'll shoot a little bit at your spot. We can either shoot the whole thing at your spot, or we'll do half and half in the studio, and we'll do a little wrap up. 2 bands, so $2,500 or something. Because you're giving them a different experience. If you just want the sit down option, this price. If you want the show option, it's this price. Because it's more value, it's more production value, and it's more visually stimulating for the person consuming the content.
Yeah.
When it's like it's not just a sit down joint.
Yeah.
If you're like, yo, what's going on? So, yeah, listen, it's another episode. We're gonna be interviewing Angelica, man.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, I don't even know where Cody's at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just start the show.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's gonna be on time.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm walking up to where Angelica at. We're gonna meet at the local Starbucks over here. Y'all come with me, boom.
Yeah.
Next scene, bang, you're in there. He's already in there. And they both got vanilla chais. You know what I'm saying? You're like, bro, where's mine's at?
Yeah.
And then you sit down and start the show. Now you have a part of the show here. And then maybe from there, it's almost like a walkthrough. So I'm glad you guys made it. I'm going to show you my shop. So now she's going to give you the walkthrough, show you in the shop. Y'all having a cold conversation. So it's like you just raise the production value.
Yeah.
Make it a show. It's gonna be more interesting. I feel like that's part of the evolution.
That's also one thing that I wanted us like kind of thinking of more interesting ways because we're talking about entrepreneur stuff. Sometimes you might fall asleep watching a pod.
Have an entrepreneur show you something like you might have to get Brandon and Tevin back on the show. You know what I mean? Like have them take you to a bank to get some funding. What that look like? Show me some docs or show me no docs. Show me some docs and be like, y'all don't need none of these. Throw it on the floor and then go on the bank. You know what I'm saying? With your brand new LLC paperwork and have them leave with a $20K card and then have the conversation.
That is a good idea.
You know what I'm saying? Like you show some motion and some success.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send y'all the invoice.
I do see people doing.
I'm gonna just go ahead and send it to y'all.
Do that a lot,
Yeah.
bro. They be out in the fields and I'm
Or
like,
even
damn.
people who they interview
gets
certain
interesting.
entrepreneurs like, and they showing them like, oh, this is live. Like they're showing them merchant accounts live, e-com, all that stuff. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, man. You know,
It's a great idea. But nah, this one was hella game, bro.
It definitely was. And I know you're gonna be dropping more game on your challenge that's coming up. So just tell us a little bit more about that.
So we're doing a 5-day challenge, the Audience Growth Challenge, where we're gonna be teaching people how to master the messaging by leveraging podcasting and media, how to turn their content into cash and really just get more busy in this space. So it's gonna be December 9th to the 13th. Tickets start at $97. If you buy the VIP ticket, you're going to be able to get into a raffle. I'm going to be giving away $500 and a pair of Meta Ray-Bans, which I feel like the Meta Ray-Bans are the number one piece of tech that is underutilized to me. It's like top piece of tech that people don't even realize. But I'm going to give away a pair of Meta Ray-Bans and $500. So they just need to go to audiencegrowthchallenge.com, grab a ticket to the challenge. And all my people right now that might be, man, I don't got the 97. I got you too, right? Go over to 100kpodcastprogram.com and get this free podcast program I got for you, you can start there. But all my people that are ready to go and ready to go crazy and really want to level up going into next year, I would go to audiencegrowthchallenge.com.
Yeah, so we definitely we gonna drop the link down below, and I guess Brendan gonna be our first affiliate for this episode.
Yeah, facts.
For sure.
Yeah, let's get it. But nah, this one was hella game, and I'm glad this is gonna be one of the ones that's gonna stay on YouTube forever. Because anybody looking to start a podcast, this is a great episode for you to start with, especially when a lot of people end up quitting after like an episode or two. But once you figure out how to make money early on, it'll keep you running and going for the long term.
But also too, you gotta remember it's a long game.
It's a long game. It's a long game.
You ain't gonna make no money in the beginning.
Yeah,
you could, with ways and
it's true.
strategies, but
it's true.
It's long term, so
it's true. Yeah. But I mean, to know the little parts of like making money early on.
Yeah. It definitely helps.
It helps, But yeah, it's a wrap. I think this one was
over.
This is a great one, man. It's long overdue.
Y'all can come to Miami, bro. It's cause y'all ain't flying me out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's not Miami.
Let's do another one.
That's so true. They want you to pay for their hotel.
You know
and everything.
Y'all give me a hotel. I need everything.
And we good. I ain't gonna charge you for the
next
pod.
time y'all come to Miami
for sure.
And let's do another episode. But let's run that show. Let's do an episode with the show strategy.
Yeah, let's get it.
That could be like a day in the life.
100%.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm trying to help y'all get more money, bro.
Yeah.
Let's
do it. Let's do it.
We're running with everything after this, but yeah. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely hit the link below to tap into Brendan's challenge. Like I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of value in that challenge, so definitely tap in. And like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. And we catch y'all on the next one.
Peace. See you guys soon.